Who is the most underrated Teen Titan? There are plenty of powerful ones to choose from, like Kid Devil, Kid Eternity, Kid Flash, Mal Duncan. It's Mal Duncan. It's Mal motherfucking Duncan! Mal Duncan was created by Bob Haney and artist Nick Cardy for a big status quo shift in the Teen Titans around March of 1970. They would not only ditch their costumes for a new mission from a multi-millionaire that required non-violent solutions, but they would also add 4 new members to their lineup. The teenage crime-fighting duo Hawk and Dove, the super psychic ginger wanderer Lilith Clay, and eventually as part of their first mission to immerse themselves in the inner city's community and recruit a new member on their own, Mal motherfucking Duncan. Historically, Mal is the first of his kind. Not just the first black teen superhero, but potentially the first black superhero published by the Big Two. Debuting before even Jon Stewart or Jefferson Pierce, he's been adapted in Teen Titans and Young Justice, giving him plenty of exposure to the masses, but for some reason, no one seems to bring him up. And that tendency to just quietly ignore Mal Duncan's existence is a pervasive part of his character. Why is that? Let's start with his origin. Mal Duncan is from Hell's Corner, a neighborhood in Metropolis similar to Suicide Slum, the only difference being that the gang violence in Hell's Corner is more racially charged. As a child, Mal Duncan was a victim of this gang violence, ruthlessly assaulted by a gang called the Hell's Honkies, landing him in the hospital for 3 whole days. This nearly life-ending experience, which happened without provocation, mind you, caused a huge shift in Mal's personality. Mal would develop an inferiority complex, one not just driven by racial subjugation, intended or otherwise, but a general desire to prove himself at every turn, being strong for the sake of self-validation. So, Mal would start heading to the gym, practice trombone and boxing in his free time, and help raise his sister Cindy, all in the hopes of bettering himself and his community. This puts him into conflict with the new white pride gang patrolling Hell's Corner, the Hell's Hawks, led by Stormtrooper. Yes, I'm serious. Stormtrooper would purposely destroy Cindy's lemonade stand, the Teen Titans watching it unfold undercover, urged to stop the gang themselves. Mal's the first to step in though, kicking Stormtrooper's ass as the rest of the Titans join him. The Titans thank Mal for his impeccable save, but he just tells the Titans to leave their side of town. It's not safe for a bunch of clearly out-of-place white kids in Hell's Corner. The Titans wouldn't leave though, becoming part of a local boys and girls club and helping organize events such as a community boxing tournament. The stars of this tournament would be Stormtrooper and, you guessed it, Mal motherfucking Duncan, who lays the guy out so badly that he sends his goons to Mal's locker room, hoping to assault him after the match is over. Mal kicks these gang members' asses also, with the Titans helping near the end. The Titans are really impressed by Mal, and after going to a local nightclub together to talk things out, invite him to join the team. Mal agrees to, and after surviving Lauren Jupiter's version of the Danger Room as an initiation ritual, chooses not to have one of the snazzy group uniforms, feeling like he hasn't earned it yet. And despite spending a week with the group, training day and night in astrophysics and surviving space travel, Mal still feels insecure. Still feels like his upbringing and general personhood is in question. The only way Mal feels he can prove himself to not just the Titans, but the greater world, is to take on a mission by himself. So he boards what was supposed to be an unmanned rocket to Venus to capture flight data, and tells Donna Troy to look after his sister. This kid from Hell's Corner is going to make a difference. The Titans immediately realize that this is a suicide mission and go to save him. After being split up and forced to confront aliens on the surface of the moon, Mal is saved and brought back to Earth. While Mal is still on the team, there's a common sentiment that after the Venus mission, Mal's a little sensitive. Sure, he gets to partake in a giant time paradox with Kid Flash, where he kills and later saves a teenage caveman, but that was a complete accident. So when the gang are invited to Italy to help set up a new Jupiter Labs location, the team ask Mal to stay behind and watch over Lauren Jupiter's experiments. This pisses off Mal something fierce, still being underestimated and viewed as a ghetto kid in his eyes. Deep down, he believes that he should be seen as more, but that quickly changes with the appearance of a villain named Gargoyle, who needs his own brief exploration. Basically, he's the first villain the Teen Titans ever faced in print, originally called Mr. Twister. Just some nutty old guy with wind powers who made a land deal with the people who originally lived on the property the Hatton Corners Teen Club stood on. Their defeat was pretty swift, but he was later empowered by another Titans enemy, a chaos god called Antithesis, and turned into Gargoyle. Granting him power over the dimension called Limbo, Gargoyle would find a way into Jupiter Labs and convince Mal that he was an associate of Lauren Jupiter, hoping to take advantage of his experiments and destroy the Titans. Mal would quickly make up for his mistake by opening a portal to Limbo himself, seemingly sealing away Gargoyle. And while Mal would keep this entire incident a secret, Gargoyle left something behind in the Jupiter Labs database. The plans for an anti-Titan superweapon. In the shape of a French horn. Mal wouldn't touch these plans for a while, and by that I mean until post-crisis. But he would remain with the team until their first major breakup, being told by the Titans to keep an eye on their home base as they all went their separate ways. Mal didn't really know what to say other than yes. Not just due to his desire to be accepted by this group of people who just seemingly tolerated him, but also a desire to have some kind of meaning in his life. And he would find that meaning in Karen Beecham, another girl from Hell's Corner who went to a different charter school than him, one whose keen mind and excellent grades made her valedictorian. With Karen, Mal found some kind of comfort, someone to rely on instead of shouldering the weight of others' perceived expectations on his own. And for a time, despite being aimless outside of his imposed janitor duties, Mal had some kind of stability. Then, a vague someone makes a Titan-wide distress call to all available members, bringing not just Mal, but the original Titan sans Garth back to their HQ. Turns out, this was a ruse by Dr. Light, ambushing the Titans in their lair and kidnapping Dick and Donna after injuring Wally. But worst of all, Dr. Light doesn't even acknowledge Mal as a worthwhile threat, saying that he doesn't have his own identity and in turn isn't someone to worry about. This goes one of two ways depending on the continuity. In pre-Crisis, this leads to Mal raiding the Titans Vault for gear and becoming the new Guardian, freeing the captured Titans in the Flash after Dr. Light had invaded JLA headquarters. This would put Mal in a precarious position of, yes, being respected for saving the day, but also disrespected by Roy Harper for a pretty mean joke about him being second-rate, using someone else's gear instead of his own abilities to stop Dr. Light. This makes Mal mad, leaving HQ with a chip on his shoulder before kaboom! He's caught in an explosion set by a street gang turned urban terrorist organization. Mal crawls out of the rubble, barely cognizant of what just happened. Until Death himself appears, telling him that it's time to go. Mal Duncan, after years of fighting to be taken seriously, struggles to comprehend the idea of his death being so sudden, so decisive. Not even given the chance to fight for his life like he did on that hospital bed years ago. He tells Death, fuck you, I'm not going down without a fight. Death's like, bet. With the Archangel Gabriel descending to act as a referee, Mal boxes against Death and wins, granting him not only the chance to live again, but also a gift from God. The shofar, Gabriel's ram horn that he will use to signal the end times and bring about Judgment Day. To use this horn is to agree to a binding contract, that by using it, Mal will not only gain the physical strength necessary to defeat any opponent, but the counteractive abilities to even any playing field. It is up to Mal, however, to win a fight, and if he doesn't, death will come for him. So this is overpowered, right? Not only is it enhancing Mal's physical strength, but the shofar actively transforms into things for Mal to use, taking advantage of his surroundings or general situation to find an easy win. And since they aren't going to let Mal die so easily, we haven't even gone to Crisis yet, you know he's going to win every single time. It doesn't just put him on par with the Titans, but potentially with the League. Hell, I didn't even mention the fact that Mal can use the horn at any time to teleport people to his location. It's a deus ex machina in the form of a religious instrument, and it says a lot that Bob Rozakis went in this direction for Mal when he easily could have stayed his guardian. Mal uses his newfound powers to take down the urban terrorists that threaten their neighborhood, rejoining the Teen Titans and causing Roy to apologize, asking Mal to use his horn-blowing abilities as part of his band, Great Frog. Meanwhile, Karen is pissed at the Titans for what led to Mal's near-death experience, not only being underestimated by them after all this time, but needing a magic horn to change their opinions. Karen decides to use her scientific genius to create an exosuit of her own design, turning her into a potential threat for Mal to take down and for the Titans to take him seriously as Bumblebee. As Karen prepares her costume, the Titans move from their old HQ into a nightclub in Farmingdale, Long Island. Funded secretly by Bruce Wayne, the Titans name the nightclub after Mal's new weapon, Gabriel's horn, performing for a swinging crowd of young adults before they're raided by men on skateboards. Bumblebee arrives and helps stop the skateboarded assailants, being outed by Mal after the fact since who else would willingly help him? Instead of being mad at Karen for, trying to trick them, the Titans ask her to join them on the spot, making Bumblebee the first black lady superhero in comic book history. And Mal is somewhat upset about this. It took him years to prove himself, but his beautiful and talented girlfriend shows up twice and she instantly gets a spot on the team? And a secret identity? He was proud of Karen, but also insecure. Karen recognized this, however, and decided to create Mal a new costume, one that would go perfectly with his powers as Hornblower. And on the day Mal debuts as Hornblower, someone steals the horn. Yep. That's how they permanently nerf Mal. They provide no explanation as to what happened to the original shofar, only that someone took it. And it's not even shown to be the skateboard boys. It's just gone. So in an effort to throw off his friends, Mal pretends that the name Hornblower was disgraced by his first outing. So he's publicly retiring as the hero while returning to the secret identity of Guardian. Karen immediately smells Mal's bullshit, but he doesn't care. He just wants to be useful. He wants to matter to the Titans. He wants to matter, period. Then the Titans broke up again.
Fuck you.
Like last time, the group gave Mal the keys to their HQ. Only this time, it was a whole-ass nightclub. Instead of crying such sweet sorrow about how he could never do anything right, Mal pivots. He focuses at first on making Gabriel's horn a profit, and he succeeds. He proposes to Karen, who had lived for several months in California as she worked in Star Labs. They have a small wedding where all the Titans are invited. They don't show up because they're all fucking busy, but they were invited. Mal then opened a second Gabriel's horn in San Francisco, performing blues numbers to an audience of dozens each night. Sure, the Titans eventually reformed without Mal, and that stung a bit, but it wasn't like before where Mal had almost nothing. Now he's a family man, someone who willingly gave up the life of a superhero to be his own person. Even if he wants to put on the suit now and again to feel something, Mal doesn't need to be a hero like the other Titans. By being left alone, he was able to prosper. Then Crisis happened. This is where the secondary version of events with Dr. Light take place. The plans for the anti-Titan superweapon being found by Mal and quickly constructed by Karen to become Herald. The weapon itself drawing upon the energies of Limbo to open gates between dimensions or cause harsh winds. This new sci-fi Gabriel's horn being the weapon Mal would use going forward in this timeline. The Crisis retcons also had him and Bumblebee become members of Titans West, given Karen was living in California around the time the original issue took place. Now, Mal was never Guardian, having been his own identity and giving up being a Titan willingly, instead of just the breakup causing his split. It's a change that only makes sense when you realize it's setting up the return of Gargoyle, who kidnaps Mal and tortures him in the hopes of gaining more info on the Titans. He fails, because Mal has barely talked to the Titans in years, so he just keeps him imprisoned in Limbo and explains that every time he used the new horn, he was slowly opening a rift into Limbo. One that Gargoyle would inevitably use to return and cause the Titans hell once more. Mal would be saved, but once again, it felt like Mal did something to piss the Titans off, as if Mal knew the truth about the horn. You can argue that the Titans don't really care for Mal as much as they do, say, Cyborg or his own wife, who later helped Cyborg overcome a virus implanted by a member of Star Labs, acting as a part of the Wildebeests. Karen rejoining the group during that time caused a strain on their marriage, and while Mal would brush it off eventually, it still stung how little he was valued. Yet he kept coming back. Whenever there was a big event or an all-hands-on-deck mission, like the return of Dr. Light, Mal would be there brandishing his horn, playing what should be his final song to an audience that barely even knows him. Even if Mal doesn't want to play the hero all the time, there's still something deep down driving him to prove himself. To make not only his life worth living, but the people who empowered him, who gave him the opportunity to be a hero in the first place. It kind of proves something about the Titans, that deep down, they're a found family sort of group, that they choose to work and be together, and despite their clashing backstories or personalities, they will always be there for each other. Despite barely getting any spotlight and barely any sort of reprieve from his fellow Titans, Mal has proven time and again that he's someone with good intentions. Someone who wants to do right, and has in the past. He's loyal, strong, and takes no shit. That's what makes Mal so underrated. Then he gets crippled by Jeff Johns. Introducing Vox, the third identity Mal has gone under after his Zeta tube went awry during the Rann-Thanagar War. With his horn collapsing his larynx and Karen permanently stuck at 6 inches tall, the bionically modified Mal Duncan has a speaker installed in his chest, allowing him to use the power of Gabriel's horn magnified by his own energy. Unable to live the life he had before, Mal and Karen join the Doom Patrol, living on the outside for those within. And this Doom Patrol incarnation kinda sucked. The Chief here actively egging the team on and sabotaging any growth they would have, as it would lead them to leave the Doom Patrol. And after the Chief tries and fails at doing this to poach Kid Devil from the Teen Titans, Mal and Karen have had enough, leaving the team. Wanna know how many issues these two were even on the Doom Patrol? Four fucking issues, and barely anything is explored with them. Nothing about how Mal's condition has changed the way he acts, the way he supports his partner, the way his worldview about being lesser is reinforced by his injury in the Chief. There's no catharsis when he leaves the team because he's silent the entire time. Even when he comes back for the final issue of Teen Titans before the New 52, defending Titan's Tower for Superboy Prime, there's no real exploration as to why he's still Vox. Even with a drastic reinvention like Vox, Jeff Johns and JT Kroll don't put in the work to reimagine him properly. They just hurt him for shock value, had him show up as a background character in one arc, and then rebooted him again. Vox conceptually could have worked because the core of Mal's character is still shown. His insecurity has gone through the roof, and we don't even get to see it. But that's a testament to Mal's character. Most of what I've talked about in terms of his origin and his abilities happened mostly in the background. He only ever had a spotlight under Haney, Cardi, and Bob Rosniak. Stuff like him meeting Karen, losing the horn, getting married, and living his general life is left outside of the book's pages. Yet he's still a defined and well-rounded character with plenty of opportunities for stories. So when I say I'm happy that DC Rebirth tried to include him in Dan Abnett's Titans Hunt, and later his first run on Titans in 2016, I really mean that. In this rebooted continuity, Mal had inherent psionic abilities to generate harsh sounds, joining the Titans as Herald before being forced to enact a ritual that summoned Mr. Twister, who's become an out-of-reality demon trying to break in. The Titans sealed away Twister at the cost of their own memories, leading Mal to succeed on his own as a movie composer, getting an Oscar for Best Original Soundtrack. He would meet and impregnate Karen in this continuity, who notices Mr. Twister in the background of a press photo, and while Mal would be kidnapped by Mr. Twister to restart the ritual to return him to full power, the rest of the Titans intervene and stop Twister for good. Mal wouldn't rejoin the team proper after this, instead choosing to get his powers removed by a duplicitous hive, the same evil organization that would steal Karen's memories away, leaving Mal to raise their daughter alone as Karen gallivances Bumblebee. Mal would seek out Gnark to help track down Karen's memory engram. However, their plans would be interrupted by a future version of Donna Troy, who is evil, possessing the two and various side characters as evil Donna is summoned to our present. It takes all of the Titans to take her down, leaving Mal on good terms as Guardian again, but beyond some anthology appearances like DC Power, Mal hasn't been seen since. No update on whether or not Karen has her memories fully intact, no understanding of his career, or if they made him Vox again, or even his child's name. Nothing. Because according to the Titans, Mal only matters when he's useful to the team. Mal Duncan is the most underrated Teen Titan by a country mile. Not just by fans, but by the team itself. He can be so broken that DC needs to nerf him regularly, forcing DC to just bring him back to his base power level, which is still strong. He's always there for his friends, no matter how unappreciative they really are. And most importantly, he's always moving forward no matter what the world throws at him. He isn't just Herald, or Hornblower, or Vox, or the Guardian. He's Mal motherfucking Duncan. And that name should carry enough weight on its own that you know who I'm talking about. Give Mal's child a name. And thank you for watching.